What's up, guys? Welcome to Why We're Single. Today we're talking about games that we thought would suck, but they turned out to be surprisingly good. And I'm gonna start out with a classic. I'm going Sonic Spinball. Now, everyone loves Sonic. Everyone loves Sonic and Tails, Sonic 2, fighting Dr. Robotnik and all that good stuff. But what people weren't expecting was a game where you're Sonic and then you're inside of a pinball machine, kind of like that episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, but definitely way better. Basically, Sonic is the ball, and you launch him up into these crazy puzzles. And there's actually different things you have to solve, and then like platforming sections and stuff. The game was only 5 levels, but it was extremely difficult. Very, very difficult, and lots of people didn't like that game, but when I played it, I loved it. I don't know why, it was just really, really cool. They had like really creative levels and places you had to platform through, and like, it was really fun. It was like a puzzle slash pinball game. Lots of fun.
I remember that episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? It was horrifying. I was trapped in a pinball machine forever. Anyway, games we didn't think we would like, but then we ended up loving. Yeah, how about Wii Bowling? Kind of a weird one, but when I first played it, when a friend's like, dude, you gotta play Wii Bowling with us, I'm like, Wii Bowling? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. You just stand there and go like this? That's stupid. I don't even like Wii Bowling. I'm certainly not gonna, like, why can't I stop playing this? And then for days on end, I was just playing Wii Bowling. It was really, I don't know why I got so into it. It didn't help that we turned it into a drinking game. That also added a certain level of addictiveness to the game because if you left an open frame, you had to take a shot, and it became very high stakes. And every frame, if you had missed a couple, you knew you were probably going to miss more. And it was just a very fun game. Even without the drinking aspect, it was just really fun to see you get a bunch of strikes, because I could never do that in real bowling. So yeah, Wii Bowling, surprisingly good. I didn't think I was gonna like it, I did.
So buying a video game is a huge investment, especially today. Like it's so expensive, like 60 bucks. Like sometimes you don't want to buy a game unless you know it's gonna be good. Every now and then you take that gamble. And as notoriously bad as video game movies or the games based on the movies are, King Kong was great. Like, this is a title that, like, you're going through your friends' list of games, you're comparing games, you're like, dude, you played King Kong, really? And he just looks at you and he's like, play the game now. This game actually was so much fun because it's not just a first-person shooter. It's actually like this intellectual survival horror. Because like you're trying to survive, you have to find everything to stay alive, and there's dinosaurs. It's a first-person shooter with dinosaurs. What do we want in our first-person shooter games? Dinosaurs. This gives it to us. Plus, like the first time you find what they call it V-Rex, and you're like trying to run away and survive from it, it's such an epic moment. And like they did a great job of just making the game like this visceral experience of just awesomeness coming at you. And the game is called King Kong. So obviously, playing as the giant 30-foot tall gorilla is just epic. And it's so much fun because like you're fighting dinosaurs, you're punching them, and you're it's so much fun. But as much as like it is King Kong, you're playing as King Kong, really the best part is playing as Jack and like just going through the jungle trying to save the girl and like being chased by the brontosaurus scene. They got giant bugs all over the place. It's just such a great experience of a game, and I can't recommend it more. It's up there with like the Wolverine as like best video game movies, or video games, movie games. Go play it.
And then my second one, I'll probably get a little bit of hate for this, especially because it's everyone's least favorite Mass Effect game. It's probably why it's my favorite one. Mass Effect 3. I went to that one not thinking it was going to be good at all. The only one I had played before that, I played about 20 hours of Mass Effect 2, and I got to be honest, I didn't like it very much. I thought the shooting mechanics were clunky. The only thing that seemed to be at stake was whether or not you'd bang Miranda, which I guess some people could consider an intergalactic problem, but really it was just like high school in space or something, just prom night. But basically, I didn't like that game because you just mined a lot. There's like a whole big portion of the game was just mining planets. But Mass Effect 3 got right to the point. You gotta save the universe, you gotta shoot aliens, and you gotta get the job done. I really liked that game. Call me crazy, but it was a lot of fun. And the multiplayer, even though it was just a money grab, was also pretty fun for a little while. So it gets a little bit of points for that as well.
Let's go old school and say, I don't know if anyone remembers Myth, but Myth was a game, it was an RTS game, and when I first heard about it, I'm like, ooh, a f***ing Warcraft knockoff, awesome. Only you don't build bases, that's stupid. And then I started playing it, and I'm like, I am terribly wrong about this game. elevation matters, and like the tactical positioning of your units matters so much more in Myth, and like the lore behind it and the units themselves were so cool. There were the giant Tros, and there were the Berserkers with their huge f***ing swords. It was awesome. I really liked playing it, and you could win with like these tiny scout spiders and stuff. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun playing Myth, and I thought it was just going to be a poor Warcraft knockoff or something. In my defense, I was going off basically nothing. Someone told me it was an RTS game and that it was kind of Warcraft-like, and I thought it was going to be a knockoff, and it wasn't. It was really fun.
Now, this game was actually surprisingly good for me because I didn't know much about the franchise. I'm talking about Splinter Cell Conviction. Yes, I know a lot of you are probably like, oh my god, you didn't play the other ones. We knew this game was going to be great. I didn't. A, I didn't hear much about the game beforehand, and B, definitely didn't play any of them beforehand. So I'm like, it's a stealth game? Alright, I played Tenchu a few times. I like Batman, he's pretty stealthy. Who's the Sam Fisher guy? Whatever, I'll give it a shot. And I was just so happy with how the entire experience came around because he's like sneaking around, choking fools out, then you mark people, so you choke them, then you're and then he's gotta go for his daughter. He's like, I'm retired. Oh, they got my daughter? Well, are gonna die. And he's just like the biggest badass ever. And then there's the interrogation moments where you're like, I need some information from this guy. What do we got around here? Hey, look, it's a copy machine. Well, we're gonna put your head here and keep smashing it till you give me all the information I need. Woohoo, it's just so good. Plus, after you beat the game, you can actually you can get through from point A to end of game without being seen by anybody. And so I tried to do that. Like, I spent so much time doing that. And that's probably why I'm single, because I spend like a lot of time trying to do it. But then I just wound up shooting everybody, because shooting people's fun.